Okay, so, we've got some really interesting articles here about XRP, and it's been making some noise lately. And, we're going to kind of deep dive into this price surge
Yeah,
that it's seeing and try to, unpack what's really driving it.
right.
Is this just like, the usual crypto roller coaster that we see?
Yeah.
Or is there like something bigger at play?
Right.
Um, so to kind of set the stage,
All right.
XRP, it's not your typical Bitcoin. Like when people think of cryptocurrency, they usually think of Bitcoin.
Right. Right.
Can you give us like a little bit of background on XRP and what makes it different?
Yeah, absolutely. So XRP, it's actually specifically designed for facilitating like super fast and cheap international payments.
Oh, wow.
And it's closely tied to this company called Ripple.
Okay.
So it's not like, trying to be this like decentralized store of value like Bitcoin. It's really focused on this kind of like real world use case in the financial system.
So like actually moving money around. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's kind of the backdrop. But where things get really interesting is, one of the articles you sent mentions XRP's price jumped like almost 6% just yesterday,
Wow.
hitting $2.46, which is, not nothing. And they're hinting that, it could go even higher. And, one of the things that caught my eye was this phrase, strong support, building around the $2 mark. Now, for those of us who, aren't like day trading crypto all the time,
Yeah.
what does that actually mean?
Yeah, that's a good question. So strong support at a particular price level basically means there are like a lot of buy orders placed around that price. So you have all these people who are basically saying, hey, I think XRP is a good buy at $2.
Okay.
And if it dips down that low, I'm ready to buy it. So it creates kind of like a floor
Okay.
for the price and makes a significant drop below $2 less likely,
So it's almost like a safety net.
Yeah, you can think of it that way. It's like, it's like a bunch of buyers waiting there to scoop it up if it gets too cheap.
Okay, but is this strong support is that just a temporary thing, or is that like a sign of something more substantial?
That's a good question. And I think to answer that, we need to look at the bigger picture, right?
Yeah.
The articles also highlight this massive surge in trading volume, over $10 billion in the last 24 hours.
Wow.
So this is not just a few, retail investors kind of dipping their toes in the water. This kind of volume suggests serious interest from, institutional players. We're seeing, hedge funds, fintech companies, particularly those involved in, cross-border payments.
Got it.
They're all getting in on the action.
So those are the whales that we always hear about,
Yeah.
the big institutions.
Exactly, yeah.
And the big
Yeah,
fish.
a lot of money. Yeah, with a lot of money to move the market. And, their involvement suggests they see something in XRP, right? Which is definitely adding fuel to this current price surge.
So it's not just hype, you think?
Well, there's always an element of hype in crypto, right? But when you see this kind of institutional interest, it suggests that there's something more fundamental going on.
Interesting. And one of the articles even suggested, that XRP could retest its 3-year high.
Right.
Which kind of begs the question, what was that high and what drove it back then?
Yeah, so back in 2021, XRP reached a peak of $2.86.
Okay.
And there was like a confluence of factors driving that surge. There was, a general euphoria.
Right. Everybody's excited.
In the crypto market, yeah. Ripple was, announcing all these partnerships with major financial institutions.
Got it.
And there were even, rumors of impending regulatory clarity in the U.S. So, the current buzz around XRP, it has some echoes of that period, but the landscape is definitely different now.
Yeah, it's a different world.
It is, yeah.
Okay. And speaking of big changes, one of the articles dropped this real bombshell, the potential approval of spot XRP ETFs. Now, I know that might be a little technical for some people.
Right.
So can you break it down? What's an ETF, and why would this be like such a game changer for XRP?
Yeah, sure. So an ETF, or exchange traded fund, it's basically a basket of assets that you can invest in. And they're traded on regular stock exchanges, just like stocks.
Okay.
And a spot XRP ETF would directly track the price of XRP, right? So it makes it much easier for, your everyday investor to get involved without the hassle of, dealing with cryptocurrency exchanges and wallets and all that stuff.
So this is about bringing it to the mainstream.
Exactly. right now, if you want to invest in XRP, you generally have to go through a crypto exchange,
Right.
which can be kind of intimidating.
Yeah, I've tried it. It's not easy.
Yeah, exactly. And so an ETF would just, remove that barrier and potentially open the floodgates
Yeah.
to a whole new wave of investors.
So this would be huge if it happened.
Potentially, yeah.
But I mean, is it actually realistic? And it's so like, what kind of timeline are we looking at?
Well, the regulatory environment is still evolving,
Yeah.
so it's not a guaranteed thing.
Of course.
But there's definitely growing optimism within the crypto community that these ETFs might get the green light.
Right.
If that happens, it could take months, maybe even a year for everything to be finalized.
Right.
But the impact on XRP's price, could be pretty significant.
Yeah, I bet. Okay, so I think it'd be good to kind of like zoom out a little bit and look
Yeah.
at the bigger picture. One of the articles lays out XRP's price range over the past few years,
Mm-hmm.
from a low of 0.7726 cents to that high of $2.86 that we talked about.
Right.
And it seems to be kind of consolidating around $2 right now.
Yeah, right in that sweet spot.
Yeah. So what does this kind of price history tell us about XRP's volatility?
Well, XRP is definitely known for its price swings. It's not for the faint of heart.
No.
It's highly volatile, meaning it can experience these like significant price fluctuations in a very short period of time.
Huh.
And that volatility can be attractive to some traders who are looking to capitalize on those swings.
Right. They want to buy low, sell high.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
But it also means higher risk for, long-term investors.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And I think it's important to acknowledge here, like all these articles are, kind of focusing on the positive.
Right.
What are some of the potential risks or downsides to XRP that we should be aware of?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's always two sides to the story. So, regulation
Mhm.
is a major factor. Governments around the world are still figuring out
Yeah.
how to regulate cryptocurrencies, and any new rules could have a significant impact on XRP's price.
Mm.
Additionally, there's, competition
Right.
from other cryptocurrencies that are also focusing on the payments space.
It's like a crowded field.
It is, yeah. So it's not like XRP has a monopoly on this.
Got it. Got it. So to kind of sum things up, I mean,
Oh.
XRP is definitely showing some promising signs,
Right.
but it's not without its risks.
Yeah.
I feel like we've gained like a much more nuanced understanding
Yeah, for sure.
that we would have gotten from just, skimming the headlines.
Exactly. And that's the power of like really diving deeper
Yeah, for sure.
into these topics.
Totally. So just a final thought to kind of, leave people with. If XRP does manage to, reach that 3-year high
Mhm.
or even, surpass it, what could that mean for the broader crypto landscape?
Oh, wow.
Would it finally convince, the skeptics
Right.
that XRP is here to stay?
That's a good question. I mean, it would certainly be a major milestone,
Right.
not just for XRP, but for the entire crypto industry.
Mm-hmm.
It would show that that crypto is not just this, speculative asset class,
Wow.
but that it can have real world applications and real staying power.
It would legitimize it in a way, maybe.
Exactly. Yeah. And, who knows, maybe it could even pave the way for greater adoption
Mhm.
of other cryptocurrencies in the
Mhm.
future.
Yeah, it definitely makes you think about, like, the long-term implications.
It does, yeah. This is
Okay.
just one chapter in XRP's story,
Mhm.
and it'll be interesting to see how things unfold.
Yeah, for sure. And remember, this is just a starting point, so we encourage you to continue exploring this topic. Form your own conclusions.
Absolutely.
Do your research. And thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.